Everybody, so we're just going to be catching up on some cybersecurity news to see what's been happening. Lately, I haven't been, up to date on it, so I'm just trying to like catch up. I have a pimple patch, so just ignore that. So like the first thing I got up here is that I'm just going to read it. Ukraine bans Telegram. Hold on, let me do the OG and put this down here. All right, so Ukraine bans Telegram Messenger app on state-issued devices because of Russian security threat. Ukraine issued a Telegram ban for the official devices of government employees, military personnel, security and defense workers, and critical infrastructure employees. So I'll read it and then give my comments at the end. So Ukraine has banned government officials, military personnel, and other defense and critical infrastructure workers from installing the popular Telegram Messenger app, messaging app on state-issued devices. Oh, my head's kind of like wobbly. Okay, try to put this directly in front of me. All right. State-issued devices describing the move as necessary for national security during the war with Russia. Ukraine's National Cybersecurity Coordination Center said it issued the ban for the official devices of government employees, military personnel, security and defense workers, and critical infrastructure employees. The ban was announced Friday by Ukraine's Security and Defense Council in a statement on Facebook. During a meeting on Thursday, the Security Service of Ukraine and the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said Telegram is actively used by Russia for cyber attacks, phishing, spreading malware, establishing user locations, and calibrating missile strikes. An exception to the ban will be allowed for people who use the app in their official duties. Ukrainians are free to use the app in their personal devices. The app is widely used in Ukraine not only for texting but also for reading news, including updates on Russian air attacks. It is also the primary way Ukrainian officials, including President Volodymyr Zelensky, engage with the public and relay war development. Zelensky is likely to continue using Telegram in his public communications since it is in his official capacity. Ukraine's intelligence chief Kirilo Budanov said Russian intelligence services are able to access the personal messages of app users, including deleted messages as well as their personal data, according to a statement. I have always advocated and continue to advocate for freedom of speech, but the issue of Telegram is not a matter of freedom of speech. It is a matter of national security. Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty crazy. Like a whole app is banned. Yeah, so in Ukraine, I mean, they can't use it because it's a matter of national security. And yeah, this is pretty serious. I mean, I heard that there's supposed to be like an end to the war soon, but who knows what's gonna happen. So what do I think of this? I think this is pretty like insane. Like that they're even going through this, and now they have to figure out how they're gonna communicate because Telegram is super popular over there, but it's only for the officials, so like personnel. But still, this just lets like the level of like seriousness this is. All right, so let's see. Moving on to like other cyber. So that was like malware and that was cyber warfare. So let's look at some cyber crime. What we got here in cyber crime? Okay, so let's go to this one. This one sounds interesting. U.S. announces charges sanctions against Russian administrative carding website. U.S. offers up to $10 million for information on Timur Shek Mametov, charging him of running the carding website Joker Stash. Interesting. So the U.S. government on Thursday announced rewards of up to $10 million each. Wow, each. So it's a catch 22 because how do you if you have $10 million to offer information, how do you have that information? What's your role in this operation? Each for information leading to the arrest of two Russian nationals charged over their involvement in operating and laundering proceeds from carding websites. An underground marketplace for stolen payment card data active since at least 2014. Joker Stash announced its shutdown in January 2021, roughly 1 month after law enforcement seized its servers. According to the indictment, Joker Stash offered for sale roughly 40 million payment cards annually. It is estimated to have generated between $280 million and $1 billion in legal profits. So I'm just gonna write servers down because I'm also like, if anybody knows like people that are hiring, let me know because I'm looking for like a cybersecurity job. I'm trying to get into like information security. I've been out of a job for a few months now, and so I definitely need a job. I'm just gonna write down servers because I've been looking to maybe get into like a work at a server location. Look into servers. I'm just writing that down. All right. So, anyways, the carding website indictment alleges was operated among others by Russian national Timur Shekmamatov, also known as Joker Stash and Vega. He was charged with bank fraud, conspiracy, access device fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering conspiracy related to his involvement in operating Joker Stash. The U.S. is offering up to $10 million for information on Sheikh Matov and separate rewards of up to $1 million for information on other leaders of the website. According to the indictment, Russian national Sergei Ivanov, also known as Talion, was involved in laundering proceeds from Joker Stash and Recitor, a carding website offering stolen payment card data from U.S. organizations and the personal information of U.S. citizens. In 2013, the site advertised the data of 40 million payment cards and the personally identified information of 70 million people stolen from a major retailer. The indictment charge alleges the retailer was likely target. Allegedly a cyber money launderer for roughly 2 decades, Ivanov created and or operated payment and exchange services, UApps, PinPays, and payment to BTC, working with cybercrime marketplaces, ransomware groups, and hackers who breached major U.S. organizations. Between 2013 and 2014, transactions of over $1.15 billion in value were conducted through cryptocurrency addresses allegedly associated with Ivanov's money laundering operations. Wow. Approximately 32% of the Bitcoin sent to these addresses originated from cybercriminal activities, including fraud proceeds and proceeds from ransomware payments. The U.S. is offering a reward of up to $10 million for information on Ivanov and separate rewards of up to $1 million for more information on other key leaders of UApps and separate rewards of up to $1 million for information on other key leaders of UApps, PM2, BTC, and PinPays. Additionally, the Treasury Department sanctioned Ivanov while identifying PM2 BTC as a primary money laundering concern in connection with Russian illicit finance. On Thursday, the U.S. also announced the seizure of the domain names associated with cryptocurrency money laundering exchange cryptex.net, which processed transactions of approximately $1.4 billion, most of which were associated with criminal activity or went to entities sanctioned by the U.S. As part of the coordinated actions, authorities in the Netherlands seized servers hosting PM2BTC and cryptex along with cryptocurrency worth over $7 million. Wow, so what do I think about this? I think that this is actually pretty interesting that they were able to do this from 2013 to 2024 undetected, and it seems that they were found out through these servers because somehow they were able to track down who bought these servers. I mean, I really don't know how it works, but this is pretty interesting that they were able to go so long for undetected. But the thing is, it just goes to show that you have to know when to stop, because these people kept on going for so from 2013 to 2024, that's an 11-year run. After the first couple years, you should have just stopped or handed it over or passed off the operation. But you never want to continue doing it yourself, because now, especially something like this, I mean, I don't advocate for this stuff at all, but this is just what happens, because you see time and time again, people who continue doing things that are no good for a long period of time, you're gonna get caught, and you just gotta know when to stop. You gotta know when to hang it up. It's like day trading, you gotta know when to take profits and leave. So that's my thoughts on this. All right, so now we're gonna move on to data breaches. So Deloitte says no threat to sensitive data after hacker claims server breach. Okay, so let's click on this first one. So let's see, Deloitte. So a notorious hacker has announced a theft of data from an improperly protected server allegedly belonging to Deloitte. The hacker, known as Intel Broker, announced late last week on the breach forum, cybercrime forum, the availability of internal communications obtained from Deloitte, specifically an internet-exposed Apache Solr server that was accessible with default credentials. The hacker claims the stolen data includes email addresses, communications between internet users, and internal settings. The data is available for download to the hacking forum's active users or those who have purchased credits. The audit and consulting giant has confirmed being aware of the claims, and a statement provided to SecurityWeek suggests that the company did indeed suffer a data breach, but impact is limited. Our investigation has found no threat to client data or other sensitive data related to this incident. So it looks like Deloitte might be hiring. So Malwarebytes on Monday looked at posts advertising data leaks allegedly impacting SpaceX and the White House, but the cybersecurity firm concluded that it's probably not worth giving it the time of day. All right, so that was pretty, simple. Deloitte was hacked, apparently minorly, because it wasn't anything sensitive according to them, but this looks really bad. But I'm sure as long as they can do people's taxes, it doesn't really matter, right? So let's move on to fraud and identity theft. Okay, so let's click on cybercrime. Okay. Actually, no, this one for identity theft. Okay, so look. Mandiant offers clues to spotting and stopping North Korean fake IT workers. So I've been hearing a lot about these North Korean IT workers, but maybe okay. So I've heard about this with a crypto company who hired somebody from North Korea to do this. Maybe that person really just wanted a job, But let's see what's going on. So an American collaborator assisting fake North Korean IT workers to secure jobs at U.S. companies generated approximately $7 million in revenue over 3 years. An American collaborator assisting fake North Korean IT workers to secure jobs at U.S. companies generated approximately $7 million in revenue over 3 years, underscoring the profitability of a growing threat with serious nuclear weapons implications. Okay. According to fresh documentation from Google's Mandiant unit, the revenue generated by the fake IT worker scheme can be substantial, with a single American facilitator helping to comprise over 60 identities, impacting 300 companies and generating $6.8 million in illicit revenue between 2020 and 2023. Wow. The calculation comes as more U.S. companies admit to falling victim to a sophisticated ruse that has seen the North Korean government infiltrating thousands of U.S. tech companies using stolen identities, fabricated resumes, and shell companies to help IT workers secure remote jobs. Okay, the goal is to generate revenue for the North Korean regime, evade international sanctions, and fund its nuclear and ballistic missiles programs, Mandiant said in a report that tags the operation as 5267. Though not a centralized group, Mandiant revealed that UNC 5267 operators are primarily based in China and Russia and often hold multiple jobs simultaneously using sophisticated evasion tactics like front companies and money laundering, facilitated by intermediaries or facilitators. In one prominent case, security awareness training firm KnowBe4 said a North Korean operative posing as a software engineer slipped past its hiring background checks and spent the first 25 minutes on the job attempting to plant malware on a company workstation. The first 25 minutes on the job, brother? Come on. KnowBe4 said its security team detected suspicious activities coming from a newly hired principal software engineer's workstation and quickly determined the malicious insider was using a Raspberry Pi to download malware, manipulate session history files, and execute unauthorized software. Wow. Yeah, so the security team detected activities coming from a newly hired principal software engineer's workstation and quickly determined the malicious insider was using a Raspberry Pi. Wow, yeah, so like this is what I was talking about. While Mandiant has not observed direct espionage or destructive activity, the company warns that IT workers often gain elevated access to company systems and may have the ability to modify code and administer network systems, posing a long-term threat of exploitation or disruption. Mandiant's latest revelations include screenshots of fake identities, AI-generated profile pictures, and fraudulent identities featuring stolen details. The resumes include fabricated educational backgrounds and previous work experience, making detection difficult during traditional hiring processes. Once they land the job, Mandiant notes that the fake workers remotely access victim company laptops situated within a laptop farm staffed with a single facilitator who is paid monthly to host numerous devices in one location. Mandiant has identified evidence that these laptops are often connected to an IP-based keyboard video mouse device, although a recurring theme across these incidents is the installation of multiple remote management tools on victim corporate laptops immediately following shipment to the farm. These indicate that the individuals connecting to their corporate system remotely via the internet and may not be geographically located in the city, state, or even country in which they report to reside. That's pretty sophisticated. Mandiant said, noting the use of prominent remote administration tools like GoToRemote, LogMeIn, Chrome Remote Desk, AnyDesk, TeamViewer, and RustDesk. Mandiant said connections to these remote management solutions primarily originated from IP addresses associated with Astro VPN, likely originated from China or North Korea. Feedback from team members and managers who spoke with Mandiant during the investigations consistently highlighting behavior patterns such as reluctance to engage in video communication and below average work quality exhibited by the DPRK IT worker remotely operating the laptops. Mandiant's threat hunters also flagged another common characteristic where the North Korean workers typically claim to live in one location but requested laptop shipment to another location, laptop farm. We have observed the DPRK IT workers using the location associated with the stolen identity used for their employment, including the stolen driver's license, which often doesn't match the location where the laptop is ultimately shipped and stored. The company urged target companies to implement stringent background checks, including biometric verification, require on-camera interviews, and monitor for the use of AI-generated photos. As a mitigation, organizations should also be monitoring for abnormal use of remote administration tools and VPN services, conduct periodic spot checks for remote workers to verify physical presence, and train HR and IT teams to identify potential red flags in the hiring process. Wow. You gotta admit, these guys are pretty smart, and this is what happens when you're desperate and you need a job, but this is wrong and you shouldn't do this. But yeah, like this is pretty interesting. And I'm actually like loving hearing and reading about this because it's just like so interesting how people are really like sophisticated and it's like a whole new world, because if you're not like paying attention to cybersecurity stuff, you really don't realize how like dedicated and focused people are to doing what it is they want, to achieve their goals. But this is, I don't ever advocate doing something like this because it comes with some serious consequences. But yeah, let's move on. Let's see. North Korean hackers linked to breach of German missile manufacturer, or U.S. charges 3 Iranians over presidential campaign hacking. Which one sounds more interesting? I think we just read about North Korea, so let's go to the U.S. charges 3 Iranians. Okay, so the U.S. has announced charges, sanctions, and a $10 million award. Wow, IT hackers are getting $10 million bounties on their heads, and a $10 million award for Iranian hackers accused of targeting elections. The United States on Friday announced charges, sanctions, and rewards in response to recent Iranian hacking operation targeting the 2024 election. It came to light in recent months that Iran has been running a cyber campaign targeting the upcoming U.S. presidential election. Hackers linked to Iran have targeted the Biden, Trump, and Harris campaigns, and they even offered sensitive information stolen from the Trump campaign to the Biden campaign. Unlike Russia, which seems to favor Donald Trump in the upcoming election, Iran is believed to oppose Trump's re-election and is attempting to undermine his campaign. The U.S. Justice Department on Friday announced charges against 3 employees of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps over hacker attacks not only against the presidential campaigns, but also current and former U.S. officials, NGOs, and members of the media. The U.S. says Tehran has been relying on cyber attacks and other cyber enabled operations to influence and sow distrust in elections and to obtain information that could be used to further advance the malign activities of the IRGC, including to avenge the death of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in 2020 by a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad. The 3 IRGC employees charged by the U.S. are Mossad Jalili, Syed Ali Agamari, and Yasar Balaghi. According to the DOJ, they have been involved in IRGC hacking campaigns since at least January 2020, leveraging spear phishing, social engineering, and other techniques in an attempt to compromise computers and accounts. Some of their efforts were successful while others failed. Attempts to provide information stolen from the Trump campaign to members of the media and the Biden campaign were described by authorities as a hack and leak operation. Jalil Agamari and Balaghi have been charged with conspiracy to commit identity theft, aggravated identity theft, unauthorized access to computers, access device fraud, and wire fraud. The Iranian hacking operation targeting the U.S. presidential election has been linked to a threat group tracked as APT-42, whose activities were disrupted by Google earlier this year. In addition to the charges announced by the Justice Department, the State Department is offering a reward of up to $10 million for information. Oh, they had their pictures too on the 3 alleged hackers and announced sanctions against them and several others. Whoa. APT-42 is just one of the many actors working for the IRGC, Iran's aggressive and globally focused security service. They control multiple contractors who have carried out many of the most audacious cyber incidents we have seen in the Middle East, Europe, and the U.S., including activity during this and previous presidential election cycles. This activity is just one example of their tactics, which are constantly evolving, said John Holtkus of the Google Threat Intelligence Group. In addition to leaks, IRGC actors regularly leverage destructive attacks, faked content, and threats delivered to citizens en masse. They regularly assume the guise of hacktivists or criminals and have increasingly targeted random individuals through email and even text messages. Most of this activity is designed to undermine trust and security and is used to attack confidence in elections in particular. Agencies in the UK and US on Friday issued a joint alert warning at-risk individuals about phishing attempts conducted by Iranian hackers. Wow, that was a mouthful, and that was pretty long of a news article. But hey, I mean, these cyber actors are playing a dangerous game, and the fact that they got a $10 million bounty on their head means that eyes have to be on them at all times, which means that it's going to be hard for them to move around in countries that is partnered with the U.S. But hey, I mean, I wonder what kind of benefit that they're getting out of this to even be doing something like this. I mean, do they want to stay in Iran forever? I guess that's what they're planning on doing. All right, so that's the cybersecurity news for today. Cool. So gonna end broadcast now.